Welcome to Crown Gist. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, you are sitting on a moving train and you're about to miss the most important stop. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on your notifications. You don't want to be the last person to hear the updates that are currently setting the internet on fire. Stop whatever you are doing and listen to the heartbeat of the palace. A heavy cloud has landed on the throne, and for the first time, the foundation of the kingdom is shaking. We are talking about royal secrets, a mysterious Brazilian prophet, and a DNA scandal that has turned the palace into a war zone. Is the king's blood truly flowing in every child, or has a massive deception been playing out under the royal roof? The ancestors are restless, the elders are whispering, and one woman's camp is in a state of total panic. If you think you've heard royal drama before, you haven't heard anything yet. Now, before I give you the full gist, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Crown Gist is not like those other bloggers that spend 30 minutes hiccuping over their words. We don't do all that tongue twisting. We don't gaggle or blather like people who are afraid of the truth. While others are suing and staggering through their sentences, Crown Gist is giving it to you direct, unfiltered, and straight to the point. We are the masters of the no stutter zone. Follow us ASAP or you'll keep getting diluted gist from those who can't speak straight. The sun was shining over the palace, but inside the air was colder than ice. My Crown Gist friends and families, you need to understand that a king's palace is not just a house, it is a place of spirit and truth. But for months, dark clouds of rumors have been floating around. People have been whispering on social media, asking questions about the children born into the royal family. But usually, the palace ignores the internet. They feel the throne is too high for TikTok talk. That was until the Brazilian prophet arrived. This man did not come to the palace to eat royal food or collect gold. He came with a message that felt like a hot iron. My Crown Gist friends and families, imagine this scene. The king is sitting on the throne. The chiefs are lined up and the smell of expensive incense is in the air. The prophet stands in the middle, and instead of saying God bless the king, he says something that made the elders drop their beads. He said, "No allegation will stand without verification." He didn't mention names, he didn't point fingers, but everyone's eyes immediately turned in one direction. You see, the king, Kabiyesi, is a man of process. He's not a man who acts on anger or simple gossip. But when a spiritual authority speaks such words in the heart of a palace, it becomes a law. The king stood up. You could hear his royal robes rustling in the dead silence. He looked at his council and declared that the time for guessing was over. He summoned the four pillars of truth: the legal minds, the medical experts, the spiritual custodians, and the traditional elders. His instruction was like a sharp sword. Every claim to this throne must be verified, spiritually, medically, traditionally, legally. The king made it clear that bloodline is not a suggestion. It is a fact. He said that if any blood that does not belong to the throne is enjoying palace privileges, it is a taboo that could bring a curse upon the land. He insisted on a DNA test, not a secret one, but a verification process that the palace records would hold forever. My Crown Gist friends and families, can you feel the tension? Imagine being a mother in that palace, knowing that the king you call husband has just ordered a medical team to prove if your child is hit. The emotions were high. Some people were nodding in support while others were sweating, despite the air conditioning. The king was firm. A clear conscience fears no test. But as the news of this full verification order began to spread from the inner chambers to the outer death, the reaction from one specific camp, the Ebony camp, was not what anyone expected. Instead of saying, "Bring the doctors," they began to gather the warriors. The moment the king's decree hit the ears of the Ebony camp, it was like someone threw a match into a room full of petrol. The reaction was instant, loud, and filled with a strange kind of fear. My Crown Gist friends and families, this is where the story gets very suspicious. Instead of preparing the children for the medical team, the Ebony camp began to erupt. Within hours, statements were being prepared. Supporters on social media who usually praise the palace suddenly changed their tune. They began to shout, "This is humiliation, this is a witch hunt." But ask yourself, why is it humiliation to prove the truth? If you are sure of the father of your child, a DNA test is supposed to be your best friend. It is the thing that will finally shut the mouths of your enemies forever. But the Ebony camp didn't see it as a victory. They saw it as an attack. They began to hire lawyers. My crown gist friends and families, why do you need a lawyer for a blood test? Is the DNA going to court or to the lab? The intensity grew when they started making demands. They didn't just say they wouldn't do it. They said, if we are doing it, Queen Naomi must do it too. This move was a classic distraction tactic. They were trying to make it look like they were being bullied. They began to claim that the palace was under external influence and that the Brazilian prophet was a paid agent sent to destroy them. The air was filled with the sound of defensive prayers and legal threats. The Ebony camp's reaction has created a huge divide. People are asking, are they fighting for their dignity or are they fighting to stop the truth from coming out? The suspense is killing everyone because the king has not backed down. He has kept the doctors on standby. He has kept the elders in the room. He is waiting. But while this fire was burning in the Ebony camp, everyone turned to look at the other side of the palace. They looked at Queen Naomi, and what they saw, or rather what they didn't hear, is what is currently confusing the entire nation. While the Ebony camp was busy running helter-skelter, hiring lawyers and shouting from the rooftops about persecution, everyone turned their cameras toward Queen Naomi. The world was waiting. We were all expecting her to release a 10-minute video or maybe a long essay on Instagram defending her honor. But what did she do? My crown gist friends and families, she gave them the most painful answer in the world: absolute, total silence. This silence was not the silence of a coward, it was a thunderous silence. While the other camp was vibrating like a phone on a vibrating table, Queen Naomi was reportedly sitting coolly in her space. No rebuttals, no social media wars, no lawyers shouting on TV. Sources say she didn't even send anyone to talk to the king on her behalf. Now let's analyze this. In the world of royal drama, silence is a weapon. When you know who you are, you don't argue with people who don't know who they are. The elders in the palace began to observe this. They saw one woman's camp panicking and demanding that everyone else must be tested, and they saw another woman just keeping quiet, minding her business. The Ebony camp started to get even more frustrated. They began to say, why is she not saying anything? She must be part of the plot. They even tried to force the king's hand, saying that if the verification is truly for everyone, then Naomi's pikin must be the first on the list. But the queen didn't flinch. It was like light standing still while darkness was trying to find a way to blow it out. My crown gist friends and families, do you know how hard it is to stay quiet when people are dragging your name? It takes a certain level of inner peace or a clear conscience. The elders reportedly cautioned the angry camps, saying if a woman is a virgin when she enters the palace and her records are clean, her silence is her shield. This statement alone almost set the palace on fire. The implication was heavy. The suspense here is, what does Queen Naomi know that the others don't? Why is she so confident while others are gathering spiritual reinforcements? Is it possible that the DNA test is only a trap for those who have something to hide? The atmosphere in the palace became so thick you could smell the fear.
We have reached the final gate. The king has made his final decree. He didn't listen to the lawyers, he didn't listen to the social media protesters. He told the palace elders, the throne is not a playground. The blood that sits on this throne must be the blood of the ancestors. My crown gist friends and families, the intensity right now is at a level 10. The medical experts have arrived. The spiritual custodians have finished their prayers. The legal minds are standing by to document everything. There is no more room for or excuses. The king has asked for a broad daylight verification. This means no secret results, no behind-the-door agreement. Everything must be transparent. The Ebony camp is now in a corner. They have tried to bring in their own traditional experts to counter the king's experts. They have tried to say the medical equipment might be compromised. They are throwing everything at the wall to see what will stick. But the king's word is final. The mystery now is, what happens when the needle touches the skin? What happens when the results paper is opened in front of the Council of Elders? If the blood doesn't match, it's not just an embarrassment, it's a total expulsion. It means the loss of titles, the loss of privileges, and a permanent mark of shame. The Crown Gist family is watching closely. We are hearing that some people are already packing their bags just in case. The drama is no longer about who is the favorite wife, it's about who is the mother of the true heir. The evidence is starting to shook everywhere. Truth is like a seed. No matter how deep you bury it, once the rain of verification falls, it must sprout. As we wait for the final explosion of truth, the question remains, will the palace ever be the same? Will the king find peace? Or is this the beginning of a total royal reset? The aroma of the truth is cooking, and very soon, the whole world will be served a plate of reality. My Crown Gist friends and families, as we conclude this intense update, please remember that all the information we have shared today is based on rumors, social media allegations, and hearsay. These are not confirmed facts. We are here to bring you the gist as it is flying around the digital space. Please treat this as alleged information and do not take it as the final truth until the palace or the parties involved release an official verified statement. We only bring the news as it breaks.